there is a big delay, like 20, 30 minutes. Álvaro, pode começar.
Boa tarde a todos. Estamos aqui reunidos para mais um webinar que hoje, como vocês perceberam pelo anúncio, vai ser conduzido em inglês, por causa dos nossos convidados do exterior. Então, welcome everybody. We're starting our discussion on industrial designs, their registration, and a possibility of improving these protection worldwide. We're going to see all the presentations we have here. We have Max from the Brazilian office, who's going to show us all the progress has been done by the office in this protection. And then we're having expositions from WIPO on how these protections can be enhanced and extended. So we're going to be a very interesting end of morning. I don't want to take the time from everybody, so I'll just pass the floor to our co-host, Mr. José Graçaranha from WIPO, to take the word. José, the floor is yours.
Muito obrigado, caro Álvaro. Muito obrigado pelo convite, pela co-organização desse evento. I thank everyone for this event, for the ABAPI, for the co-organization, and for INPI, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, for another webinar, this time on industrial designs for users and Brazilian stakeholders. This is an area that we are not really. We have a long-standing tradition on this, but our companies could use it a lot more. We will have, as Álvaro mentioned, Ricardo Pinho moderating the event, and then Eduardo Rodrigues Rio from the National Industrial Property Office that is going to give the latest numbers and developments in this area. And I'm very happy to introduce to you my two colleagues from Geneva, Ms. Jessaline Oncolada. She's the head of the development and promotion section of the Hague system, and my dear friend and former assistant Max Germel, who also works for the section of development and promotion of the Hague section. We hope that we are going to have a very successful event, and we will be able to promote the industrial designs and the Hague system, the Geneva Act of the Hague system here in Brazil, which I understand from discussions with members of the government and from INPI that it's a new target that they have. So I now return the floor to you, Álvaro, and I look forward to the presentations. Your microphone is not on.
Okay, now I'm back. Thank you, José. And now I pass the word to Cláudio Furtado, the president of NAPI, to salute the audience. Cláudio, please.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you, Álvaro Loureiro, Ricardo Pinho of ABAPI, José Graçaranha from OMPI, from the regional office of WIPO in Brazil, to our guests from WIPO Geneva. It is not only a pleasure, but also very appropriate very fit for INPI to be participating in the opening of this event for 3 reasons. Number one, that we have been very successful in joining the Madrid system since last year. This experience of, which obviously started with PCT many years ago and is working definitely well. We receive about 85% of our patents through PCT. But the Madrid system has given us an opportunity to not only start from, let's say, from scratch, preparing the necessary procedures within INPI, but also following up and doing the whole work within the national parliament for the approval. And I should say that most of the people here, but in particular, Mr. José Graça Aranha, has worked hand in hand with me in that process, which has become very successful in terms of approval, immediate signing by the President of the Republic, and the introduction of Brazil on October 2nd of last year. The numbers are splendid, and we are now in the process of creating the structure under our director for trademarks, which also deals with industrial designs, for handling all this international cooperation or the international participation of Brazil in these well-established systems. As far as the Hague system is concerned, I have 2 important news for you. Number one, that the studies for the proposal for Brazil joining the systems have already started in the Ministry of Foreign Relations. The diplomat Maxiliano Arienzo, whom we expect to be joining WIPO under the new Darentang administration. He is an official candidate for one of the positions, the international positions, and it's supported by the Brazilian government. This is already public. His area is working for the proposal of Brazil to join the Hague system. They plan to finish this first preliminary study, submitted to INPI for technical review. Then we work with the Ministry of the Economy, which is going to be fast, move it to the presidency, and it's up to the president to submit it to Congress. I would anticipate that by the first semester of next year, we should have that proposal reaching Congress. Then we have the legislative process, which may take long, but everything that is being done in terms of the globalization of the Brazilian participation in the international intellectual property system is moving very fast in the parliament. So based on the experience of Madrid, I would anticipate that we could be joining the Hague system by sometime the second semester of next year. Again, this is not a promise, it's our hope and it's our devoted effort. On the other hand, I have established with the International Consulting Office of Palladium, that is assisting INPI with a review of its macro processes, that the macro processes for trademarks and industrial designs are going to be reviewed until the end of this year. They will establish the processes as they are today. They will document as they are today, and they will optimize the process until March of next year, so that when the final legislative approval for Brazil to join the Hague system is ready, INPI will be entirely operational. And you will see by the numbers, we have noticed in the past 2-3 months an increased interest in industrial design. It's amazing percentage-wise, the growth numbers in industrial designs deposits with INPI, or applications with INPI. You will see that in the presentation by Mr. Eduardo Rio. I will not anticipate numbers here, but just make sure to our friends from WIPO, that they can go back and take the news, which I have already signaled to outgoing director Francis Gary, that Brazil is moving fast in this area, okay, also, and is moving fast in terms of joining the international Hague system. So that's my opening. I really hope this seminar will be very successful, and we all benefit from sharing the knowledge in this area that may expedite the Brazilian entry into the Hague system. Thank you very much, and have a good seminar. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Claudio, for the clarifying explanation, and to let us know that Hague is closer than we initially expected, which is a very good news. Without further ado, I'll pass the floor to the moderator, Ricardo Pinho, who will coordinate the speeches and further the questions. Ricardo, it's with you now.
Thank you, Álvaro. Good morning, everyone. I will have the pleasure to introduce our speakers today. And the first one is our friend Eduardo Rodrigues Rio from the Brazilian Patent and Trademark Office from the ANPI. And I will now read his bio. It's a very brief bio. And then he will start his presentation, which will be in Portuguese, right, Eduardo? And I will read the bio in Portuguese too, okay? Eduardo Rodrigues Rio, ele é tecnologista em propriedade industrial no INPI, é bacharel em desenho industrial pela Universidade Unicarioca, é especialista em ergonomia e usabilidade pela PUC do Rio, e é mestre em propriedade intelectual e inovação pela Academia de Propriedade Intelectual, Inovação e Desenvolvimento do INPI. Eduardo, com isso, você tem a palavra para fazer a sua apresentação, e desde já os agradecimentos da ABAP, da OMP, pela sua disposição de estar aqui conosco e falar desse assunto tão importante. Muito obrigado, a palavra é sua.
Bom dia a todos. Eu que agradeço a oportunidade, né, de poder participar desse evento. Está visível a apresentação? Você consegue me ouvir?
Sim, está visível, estamos te ouvindo perfeitamente.
Ok, bom. Como já foi dito, embora esse evento tenha como foco principal os depósitos via o acordo de Haia, uma vez que o Brasil ainda não é signatário de Haia, pelo menos até um breve intervalo de tempo futuro, eu vou focar minha apresentação no depósito dos pedidos de desenho geral pela via nacional, diretamente com o INPI. Eu não vou entrar em detalhes muito técnicos a respeito, por exemplo, de como o pedido deve ser depositado, como as figuras devem ser apresentadas. Eu vou buscar dar um panorama geral do que é o desenho industrial para efeitos legais, né, de proteção, o panorama atual, tanto no mundo como no Brasil, da proteção dos depósitos e registros de desenho industrial, como se deve fazer para proteger, também em linhas bastante gerais, esse ativo de propriedade industrial, e por que você deveria proteger o seu desenho industrial, sua criação. Vamos começando por uma definição básica. A World Design Organization define o desenho industrial como um processo estratégico de resolução de problemas. Basicamente, você tem um problema que você quer resolver, que na maioria dos casos vai resultar em algo tangível, em um objeto, e você segue uma série de etapas para poder resolver aquele problema. Você cria, define os problemas que você tem, você vai gerar várias possibilidades que podem resolver aquele problema, você vai testá-las, você vai criar protótipos e você vai, enfim, já falando de uma empresa, de uma atividade empresarial, você vai transformar toda essa solução de problemas num objeto tangível que vai, quiçá, ser comercializado no mercado. Geralmente diferencia-se o desenho industrial em dois grandes ramos, né? O design gráfico, que é não só as marcas, mas toda a programação visual de empresas, de produtos e de serviços, impressos em geral, livros, revistas, folders, materiais publicitários, e também a questão das interfaces com o usuário. Web, interfaces de celulares, design de jogos e toda essa gama de interação com o usuário. Interação gráfica com o usuário mesmo que através de uma parede, de uma interface. E o design de produto, que corresponde a toda a gama possível e imaginária de produtos produzidos através da intervenção humana. Preferencialmente, produtos que levem em conta a sua usabilidade e a sua funcionalidade, que sejam úteis realmente ao usuário. Só que, se você prestar atenção, a definição de desenho industrial fala em processo de resolução de problemas, um processo para a criação de um objeto. Só que, de acordo com a nossa LPI, para efeitos de proteção, a lei considera o desenho industrial apenas a forma plástica ornamental de um objeto ou conjunto ornamental de linhas e cores que possa ser aplicado a um determinado produto. Ou seja, apesar do sistema de desenho industrial, da noção de desenho industrial, estar ligada a um processo de criação, para efeitos legais de proteção, a proteção é devida apenas a esse resultado final, que é o objeto, a forma plástica desse objeto criado, definido a partir de todo esse processo de criação. Para isso, ele tem que proporcionar um resultado visual novo e original em sua configuração externa, ou seja, em sua forma, e também precisa servir de tipo de fabricação industrial. Ele precisa ser passível de ser produzido industrialmente, em escala, mantendo sua forma inicial. Quando ele fala em ornamental, ela se refere exatamente à definição dada pelo dicionário. Os ornamentos, que serve para ornamento, a decoração do objeto. Significa que quando a lei fala no ornamental aplicado ao desenho industrial, ao objeto, ela se refere àquilo que vai além da sua função. Todo objeto ele é criado para desempenhar uma função. Só que, além disso, ele é agregado de valores ornamentais, digamos assim, decorativos, para que seja mais atrativo ao público. E é nesse sentido que a lei fala de ornamental. E, nesse sentido, a ornamentalidade aí não tem relação com qualquer noção de estética ou de beleza que a pessoa possa ter. Como falei, o ornamental vai além do funcional. Nós temos aqui 2 regadores que servem a mesma função. Cada um deles tem os mesmos elementos básicos, que é um recipiente para colocar a água, a alça para suporte, para apoio, e o bico para poder servir a sua função primária, que é regar. Só que cada um deles tem uma ornamentalidade distinta, para além da sua funcionalidade, embora haja necessidade de se ter uma alça para você segurar o objeto, ela não precisa necessariamente ter essas formas. Então, é nesse sentido que a ornamentalidade está aplicada na lei. E, claro, aqui uns podem achar mais bonito que o outro, mais estético que o outro, mas isso não tem relação com a proteção legal da propriedade industrial. Forma plástica ornamental, como eu já disse, são basicamente os elementos tridimensionais, aqueles que têm forma no espaço. Essa é a maioria dos objetos que são depositados no NPI a fim de requerer sua proteção, seu registro de desenho industrial. E o conjunto ornamental de linhas de cores são estampas, composições gráficas e padrões de superfícies que são aplicados a um determinado produto. Ícones de interface também são considerados como padrões de superfície. Então, são padrões, são ornamentos bidimensionais que são aplicados a um objeto tridimensional. O resultado visual novo e original, que foi dito no artigo da lei, o desenho industrial é novo quando ele não está compreendido no estado da técnica, entenda-se por estado da técnica tudo aquilo disponível ao público, tudo aquilo divulgado ao público até a data de depósito do pedido de desenho industrial, ou a data de uma prioridade, se ela for reivindicada, mas como aqui nós estamos focando nos depositantes nacionais, provavelmente não vai haver essa figura da prioridade unionista, embora ela possa existir. E ele é considerado original quando ele resulta numa configuração visual distinta em relação a outros objetos anteriores. Ao compará-lo com os demais objetos na sua classe, né, no seu campo de atuação, no seu ramo de atividade, ele precisa ser distinto, precisa se distinguir dos seus objetos, dos seus concorrentes, se é que pode-se dizer assim. E a aplicação industrial, ele precisa ser passível de ser reproduzido em escala industrial. Não há necessidade, a partir do registro, de que aquele objeto seja realmente produzido, mas a sua forma, aquele objeto do registro tem que ser passível de ser produzido industrialmente. Isso significa que ele precisa manter a sua forma, qualquer que seja a quantidade de objetos produzidos. Por exemplo, esse pedaço de torta, por mais hábil que seja o confeiteiro ou o cozinheiro, o boleiro que vai produzi-lo, ele não vai conseguir produzir uma outra fatia de torta idêntica a essa. Isso quer dizer o quê? Que não se pode registrar produtos alimentícios? Não. Você pode registrar desde que aquela sua forma, daquele objeto, daquele produto, possa ser reproduzido em escala industrial. Suas formas possam ser reproduzidas identicamente em qualquer processo. E aí, esse tipo de critério já tira praticamente os objetos artesanais do escopo de proteção por registro industrial. O pedido de registral, ele se refere a um único objeto, mas ele admite uma pluralidade de variações, no máximo de 20, desde que eles se destinem ao mesmo propósito e tenham a mesma característica distintiva preponderante. Por exemplo, nós temos aí 2 conjuntos de cadeiras que mantêm basicamente a mesma característica, né, a cadeira como um todo, com o diferencial de que essa segunda variação possui suporte para copos nos braços da cadeira. Então, esses 2 objetos eles podem ser mantidos no mesmo pedido como variações de um mesmo objeto, que é a cadeira. As figuras, os desenhos, eles deverão representar claro e suficientemente o objeto e as suas variações. Por exemplo, na maioria das vezes, para um objeto tridimensional, exige-se uma perspectiva, pelo menos uma. Aqui optou-se por apresentar mais uma, porque a vista inferior tem características que poderiam ser ressaltadas, e todas as suas vistas ortogonais, frontal, posterior, superior, laterais e posterior. No caso de um padrão ornamental, uma figura bidimensional, ele pode ser representado como apenas a reprodução planificada do padrão, ou este padrão, no caso aqui uma interface gráfica, aplicada ao objeto ao qual se destina. E o que não pode ser protegido como desenho industrial? O que for contrário à moral e bons costumes, que ofenda a honra ou imagem de pessoas, ou atente contra a liberdade de consciência, crença, culto religioso, ideias e sentimentos dignos de respeito e veneração. Apesar desse artigo, desse texto, estar frequente, ser presente na maioria, se não todas as legislações internacionais, isso, claro, varia de cultura para cultura. No nosso caso aqui, na maioria das vezes, esses tipos de objetos têm cunho erótico ou sexual. Por exemplo, essa estampa, né, com atividades eróticas, aqui não seria registrável, mas poderia ser tranquilamente registrável em países onde a cultura admite esse tipo de representação, né? Na Índia, por exemplo, isso seria provavelmente muito passível de proteção. O que não pode ser protegido ainda, a forma necessária como o vulgar do objeto ou aquela determinada por considerações técnicas ou funcionais. A forma comum do objeto é aquela em que comumente ele é encontrado no mercado. Quando se fala em martelo, a primeira imagem provavelmente que vem à mente de todos é esse martelo. Isso significa que não se pode efetuar o depósito e solicitar o registro de martelo? Não, desde que ele tenha características visuais distintivas suficientes para que ele não seja considerado como uma forma comum de martelo que todos identificam e que tenham características ornamentais suficientes para que seja protegido. A forma vulgar do objeto é quando aquele objeto praticamente formado apenas por figuras geométricas básicas, como no caso desse icosaedro, que é formado basicamente por pentágonos em todas as suas faces. Isso quer dizer que não se pode proteger objetos que têm formas construídas a partir de formas básicas? Não, desde que você tenha ornamentação suficiente que o faça distinguir dos demais objetos puramente formados com formas básicas. E os objetos que têm formas determinadas essencialmente por considerações técnicas ou funcionais, como, por exemplo, um parafuso. Isso significa que não se pode solicitar o registro de parafuso? Sim, isso significa que, na maioria dos casos, não se pode solicitar o registro de parafuso, ou de um joelho de tubulação, ou de uma engrenagem, porque são formas básicas, são formas essenciais, definidas por características técnicas, que são necessárias para que novos produtos e novos equipamentos sejam produzidos. Então, isso não pode ser direito de apenas uma pessoa, porque senão isso acabaria travando a inovação no desenvolvimento de novos produtos. E não se considera desenho industrial qualquer obra de caráter puramente artístico. Isso aí não é desenho industrial, não pode ser registrado. Por exemplo, a cadeira de bichinhos de pelúcia dos irmãos Campana, que apesar de uma certa alegação de que ele pode ser produzido industrialmente, uma vez que os bichinhos de pelúcia são produzidos industrialmente, se seria montado, ele não conseguiria manter essa mesma forma em todos os objetos. Ao contrário, você pode ter um objeto que incorpore uma obra artística. Por exemplo, as Havaianas, tem um contrato com o Romero Brito, que permite que elas utilizem algumas de suas obras em suas sandálias. Com a vantagem que se alguém jogar a sandália no chão, ela não vai quebrar. Depositado pedido de desenho industrial, observado o que é disposto no artigo 100, 101 e 104, ele será automaticamente publicado e simultaneamente concedido o registro. O desenho industrial, ao contrário da patente e da marca, ele não passa por um exame prévio de sua novidade e originalidade, apesar da lei exigir que ele seja no original, mas muita gente pula essa parte do disposto nos artigos 100, 101 e 104. Ele será automaticamente publicado desde que de acordo com os artigos da lei. No momento do depósito, o depositante pode requerer que o pedido seja mantido de sigilo, por prazo de 180 dias. Isso é bom se você quiser fazer alguma divulgação do seu objeto, do seu produto antes do lançamento comercial, né? Não atendido o disposto no artigo 101 e 104, será formal a exigência. O artigo 101, ele diz os documentos que devem compor o pedido de patente. Formulário de requerimento, relatório, se for o caso, reivindicação, se for o caso, desenhos, obrigatoriamente. Procuração, o que tiver na questão. E o 104, que tem o máximo de 20 objetos, mantidas as devidas características distintivas entre si. Se não atendendo o disposto nesses artigos, é formulada uma exigência técnica que tem que ser respondida em 60 dias. Se não respondido, o pedido é arquivado definitivamente. E não atendendo o artigo 100, que fala sobre questão moral de bons costumes, a forma técnica ou funcional, como o vulgar do objeto, o pedido é indeferido. Se concedido, o registro vigora pelo prazo de 10 anos, contado do depósito, prorrogável por mais 3 anos, mais 3 períodos, desculpa, de 5 anos cada. A partir do registro, aí sim o titular pode requerer o exame de mérito daquele objeto a qualquer tempo de sua vigência, com os aspectos de novidade e originalidade. A partir dessa solicitação, o INPI vai proceder ao exame de mérito para atestar se aquele objeto é ou não novo ou original. Se não for, é instaurado de ofício um processo de nulidade daquele registro. E, além disso, o processo de nulidade também pode ser instaurado de ofício ou mediante requerimento de qualquer pessoa até um prazo de 5 anos contado a concessão do registro, após esse prazo apenas por via judicial ou como resultado de um exame de mérito realizado pelo INPI. Um rápido panorama de como está o depósito de desenho industrial no mundo. Esses são dados apenas de 2018, foram depositados 1.300.000 em desenhos industriais. A China, como o grande depositante internacional, né, com 54% dos pedidos, seguido pelo escritório europeu, Coreia, Estados Unidos e Alemanha, e com escritórios também que mais recebem pedidos de desenho industrial, a China também disparada em primeiro lugar, como o escritório que mais recebe pedidos de desenho industrial, e entre os países de desenvolvimento, o Brasil está aqui, atrás de Irã, Índia, Rússia e Ucrânia. Teve 6.111 pedidos de depósito de registro de desenho industrial em 2018. Uma busca na base da OMP foi feita em dia 7 agora. Nós encontramos um total de 12.780.455 objetos registrados a partir de 30 escritórios de desenho industrial com que tem acordo com a OMP. Os maiores escritórios são, novamente, a China, o EUIPO, Alemanha, Estados Unidos, Coreia, França, Japão e Espanha. Esses não são exatamente, não se considera, não são desenhos industriais chineses, são desenhos industriais depositados no escritório chinês. Isso é uma boa ferramenta de busca para quem quiser dar uma olhada no panorama atual, uma boa e longa ferramenta de busca para quem quiser saber como está o panorama atual do desenho industrial. E já que falando de classificação de Locarno, que é a classificação pela qual são divididos, separados, classificados os pedidos de desenho industrial, os mais solicitados na UAIPO são na classe imobiliário, embalagens e artigos de vestuário. Estamos falando aqui em AIA, né, a OMP também oferece uma busca de pedidos depositados pelo acordo de AIA, numa quantidade consideravelmente menor, de 108 mil e poucos desenhos industriais. E aqui também, novamente, o IPO aqui já ocupando o primeiro lugar, né, de país contratando do contratante dos acordos de AIA. Aqui, claro, só os países que fazem parte do acordo que possuem os seus registros depositados aqui no site. E, novamente, por classificação de Locarno, a gente encontra aqui uma diferença, ainda em primeiro lugar, mobiliário e embalagens, só que no lugar dos vestuários, encontramos relógios, instrumentos de medição, controle de sinalização em terceiro lugar, com o vestuário caindo para a 10ª posição. É um dado interessante esse. E no Brasil? No Brasil, a base de dados, uma busca também feita no dia 7, mostra 145.451 depósitos de desenho industrial. Há um delay na busca, vocês podem ver que o último depósito aqui foi no dia 21 de agosto, então a busca foi feita dia 7, há sempre um atraso aí nessa atualização. Mas por volta de 145 mil depósitos de desenho industrial que são encontrados na base de dados do INPI. Esse gráfico mostra uma evolução histórica dos depósitos, e essa linha branca são os depósitos de depositantes nacionais, e o total, incluindo depósitos nacionais e internacionais. Os depositantes brasileiros correspondem a uma média de 60%, né, dos depósitos efetuados no Brasil, seguido dos Estados Unidos, França. A China, apesar de ser aquela potência mundial, ainda tem uma participação muito ínfima dos seus pedidos de desenho industrial aqui no Brasil. E entre os depositantes nacionais, a maioria é de pessoas físicas, empresas de médio porte e pequeno porte, apenas 2% de instituições de ensino, pesquisa e governo. Eu quero chamar a atenção para esse número de pessoas físicas, que ele pode ser um pouco enganoso uma vez que a maioria pode depositar como pessoa física para fazer jus à redução da taxa de depósito, só que acabam representando empresas de pequeno e médio porte no final das contas. Aqui um quadro do depósito residencial por estados. São Paulo como grande depositante nacional, né, com 46%, quase metade de todos os depósitos, e alguns estados com uma participação muito baixa ou praticamente nula dentro desse cenário residencial. Chama a atenção que esses números são relativos a 17 anos de depósito. Então, como são baixos, são bastante baixos mesmo, quase sem nenhuma participação. Esse número aqui provavelmente reflete até os polos econômicos que a gente encontra muito aqui no Brasil, como de vestuário, mobiliário, aí vai. Refletido também no resultado dos pedidos de residencial classificados pela classe local. Primeiro, imobiliário, artigos de vestuário e costura, e embalagens, que reflete um pouco a tendência mundial que se encontra lá nos pedidos da OMP. Esses são os maiores depositantes nacionais, a Grendene, historicamente, como maior depositante nacional do desenho industrial, seguido por algumas pessoas talvez desconhecidas no meio. Paulo Bach, Janderson de Almeida, são entre os grandes aqui, e empresas maiores, que têm maior nome, em posições menores, como, por exemplo, a Vulcabras, na 14ª posição, e que é importante nomear a única universidade que aparece nesse quadro, que é a Universidade Federal de Santa Maria, praticamente com pedidos depositados por seus alunos no curso de design. Esse quadro reflete um pouco aquilo que eu falei antes do número dos depósitos efetuados por pessoa física, como, na verdade, essas pessoas físicas que aparecem, todas essas que aparecem nesse quadro, elas são sócios ou donos de empresas bem estabelecidas no país. Então, aquele dado das pessoas físicas depositantes, ele fica um pouco escondido, um pouco disfarçado quando a gente busca por outro lado. O nosso estoque hoje de pedido de desenho industrial está caindo vertiginosamente. Hoje, praticamente, nós não temos backlog. O número de depósitos começou a cair a partir de 2007, o número de depósitos, desse estoque de pedido de desenho pendente, basicamente a partir da contratação do pessoal que passou no concurso de 2004, que dobrou o número de examinadores. Pode parecer assim uma coisa muito grande, dobrou, mas passou de 3 para 6, o que fez com que, nos quais eu me incluo num deles, fez com que esse número caísse bastante entre 2017 e 2018, e agora, hoje, nós praticamente trabalhamos com aquilo que é quase que depositado. O nosso tempo médio de exame de decisões de exame técnico, desde o depósito até a decisão final, de 1,6 meses, podendo ser, talvez na maioria dos casos, que o objetivo é correto, bem menor que esse. E como que você vai proteger o seu pedido? Primeira coisa, você precisa fazer o seu cadastro no NPI, que além de permitir que você faça seu depósito de desenho industrial com marcas, como patentes, modelo de utilidade, vai servir também para vários outros serviços que você pode ter acesso ao site. Faça uma busca, é importante, tanto quanto aos pedidos de patente, de marca, você faça uma busca, não só no site do NPI, como em outros sites, como o da OMP, que tem um número muito maior de resultados, mas faça uma busca daquele objeto que você está querendo proteger. Basicamente, você pode utilizar como parâmetros a classificação que esse objeto se enquadra e marcar aqui o formato de saída, que vai te mostrar as figuras do desenho industrial, que é o que te importa para saber se é parecido ou não com o seu. Para isso, você precisa estar cadastrado logado no sistema. Esse seria o resultado de uma busca, né, no objeto na subclasse locada 6.1, que é de assentos, cadeiras, né, poltronas, por aí vai. Achou 3.280 resultados. Onde está imaginando disponível, porque o pedido ainda não teve decisão final. Ao clicar no número do pedido, você vai para a página do pedido em si. Aqui você vê as publicações referentes ao pedido, desde o seu depósito até a sua concessão. Aquilo que eu falei antes do termo de concessão, reparem que esse pedido foi depositado no dia 22 de julho e teve concessão no dia 11 de agosto, 20 dias depois. Então, esse pedido, a parte do depósito da sua concessão, tramitou no NPI durante 20 dias apenas. Clicando no documento publicado, você tem acesso à a documentação ao folheto, ao certificado do pedido em si. Isso é interessante porque, muitas vezes, a busca do NPI, ele deforma o objeto, as dimensões reais do objeto. Então, é sempre bom dar uma olhada no documento, se aquilo te interessa, para verificar as reais dimensões daquele objeto. Feito isso, você gera e paga a GRU. É importante pagar a GRU antes do depósito. Caso contrário, seu pedido vai ser considerado como inexistente. A escolha do serviço na hora do GRU, você vai escolher aqui o registro de desenho industrial, pedido de desenho industrial e o depósito. Automaticamente, seus dados vão aparecer aqui, os dados lá inseridos no cadastro. O valor do depósito é de R$ 235, que cai para R$ 94, se você for pessoa física, microempresa, microempreendedor, EPP, cooperativa, entidades sem fins lucrativos ou órgãos públicos. Essa, na verdade, é a única taxa, se você não tiver nenhuma exigência técnica, é a única taxa que você vai pagar durante os 5 primeiros anos do depósito, caso seu pedido seja concedido, uma vez que você não precisa pagar pela emissão do registro. E o mais importante disso aqui, leia o Manual de Desenhos Industriais. Ele está disponível nesse site, nesse formato de web, mas aí também é possível que se baixe a edição em PDF. É uma leitura, aí, por vezes, cansativa, longa, mas é, de todas essas dicas, a mais necessária para que o seu pedido seja depositado de maneira correta. E a partir daí, você vai colocar o número da GRU gerada, ele vai abrir o formulário correspondente ao depósito, com todos os dados, você vai inserir a documentação necessária, se for o caso, procuração, se tiver relatório ou reivindicações, se for o caso, você vai descobrir se é o caso lendo o manual de desenhos industriais e desenhos ou fotografias, que é obrigatório no ato do depósito. Os outros documentos não necessariamente são obrigatórios no ato do depósito, mas se o pedido for depositado sem desenhos ou fotografias, ele é considerado também nulo, assim como sem pagamento. Enfim, acompanhe a RPI. Quem não sabe, a RPI sai toda terça-feira, e é a partir daí que os dados oficiais do INPI são publicados, e é a partir daí que começa a contar os prazos legais. A exigência técnica, como já foi dito, tem 60 dias para ser cumprido. Cabe lembrar que 60 dias e 2 meses são coisas diferentes, então fique atento aos prazos para não perder o seu pedido. Por fim, receba seu certificado, pague os quinquênios, cada 5 anos, se você quiser manter o seu pedido, e seja feliz. Por último, prometo não me estender muito mais, já que eu passei do meu tempo aqui já, por que você deveria proteger o seu desenho industrial? Em 2011, a Apple iniciou um processo contra a Samsung, que foi conhecido de Patent War, porque acusando a Samsung de copiar ou quebrar patentes, marcas comerciais e a interface do usuário e o design do iPhone. Basicamente, nas ações, a Apple acusava a Samsung de ter violado, dentre patentes de tecnologia, 3 patentes de design. Nos Estados Unidos, o design é considerado também uma patente. Essa patente de design, que cuidava do slot do alto-falante, da tela de vidro negra, de ponta a ponta, e da borda da tela. Não vou entrar no mérito das linhas pontilhadas, né? São características dos depósitos, de alguns depósitos internacionais, mas basicamente essa patente de design protegia esses elementos. Uma segunda patente de design que protegia essa face retangular, né, com cantos arredondados, e a moldura uniforme do design do iPhone. E uma terceira patente que protegia a grade de 16 ícones da tela do iPhone. A Apple pediu $1 bilhão em indenizações pela cópia da sua proteção industrial pela Samsung. Em maio de 2018, então cerca de 7 anos depois do início do processo, a Samsung foi condenada a pagar por copiar os direitos de propriedade industrial da Apple. Ela foi condenada a pagar $5,3 milhões por infração de 2 patentes que envolviam as tecnologias embarcadas no iPhone, como, por exemplo, zoom na imagem com movimento de pinça dos dedos, deslizar na tela inicial para desbloquear o telefone, que a Samsung tinha copiado do iPhone. E $533 milhões por violação daquelas 3 patentes de design que foram comentadas. 100 vezes mais, foi condenado a pagar 100 vezes mais pela violação das patentes do design, da configuração do visual do seu celular do que pela tecnologia embarcada nele. Esse julgamento ele não entrava nesse mérito se houve ou não a violação das patentes, mas questionava se a Samsung deveria pagar pelos danos baseados nas vendas dos seus smartphones ou apenas pelos componentes que infringiam patente dos desenvolvedores do iPhone. Pelo visto, pelo valor, a diferença no valor das indenizações, parece que a resposta da pergunta era positiva. Bom, é isso, eu agradeço, espero não ter os aborrecido demais com toda essa questão de desenhos industriais. Novamente agradeço a oportunidade de participar desse produto e estou à disposição para qualquer dúvida. Obrigado.
Obrigado, Eduardo. Parabéns, a sua apresentação foi bastante esclarecedora, inclusive no que diz respeito ao processamento do pedido, a elaboração do pedido. Só que eu vou tomar a liberdade, já que eu estou aqui representando a BART, eu vou tomar a liberdade de recomendar também aos interessados em depositar desenho industrial que é possível contratar um agente, um advogado especializado para ajudar nesse depósito e ajudar a obter esse direito. Eu faço isso aqui, Eduardo, por obrigação de ofício, né? Eu estou representando
Claro,
a BART. Eu
sim,
tenho que aproveitar a
sim.
oportunidade, né?
Às vezes sim, não querendo cortar, mas às vezes muita gente, não que seja obrigatório, mas muita gente acaba perdendo seu pedido porque não sabe realmente depositar. Então, às vezes, abrir mão abrir mão não.
E o que eu vejo também, Eduardo,
ajuda.
o que acontece muito com frequência é que as empresas não consideram isso como um investimento, né? Não colocam consideram isso como um custo. E aí quando você apresenta esse resultado do litígio da Apple com a Samsung, você vê que, na verdade, não é um custo, não é uma despesa, é um bom investimento, né, para proteger os direitos, né? Muito obrigado, Eduardo. E com isso, now I will change my language channel here to introduce, let's put the bio here, to introduce Jess, the next speaker. Jess Ronculada is happy to be living through the most creative period of human history, where innovation drives solutions to multiple and complex challenges. As a lawyer with 20 years of experience, Jess has worked in the private and public sectors and in the national and international scene, occupying many and varied roles. She first practiced law in Manila. Eager to go into public service, she subsequently joined the office of the President of the Philippines, witnessing firsthand the making of national politics at the core of executive leadership. Her first international posting was with the United Nations Compensation Commission in Geneva. That was back in 1996. Since then, she has adopted Geneva as home, raised 2 daughters, and made the mythical Swiss Alps her leisure and passion. From the UN, she moved to WIPO, serving first at the Office of the Legal Counsel, where she enjoyed the thrilling challenge of establishing WIPO Lex, now the leading global resource of IP legal intelligence. She then became a part of WIPO's Human Resources Management Department. Among others, she led the review and revamp of WIPO's internal justice system, introduced the first ever electronic voting system at WIPO, and helped establish policies on flexible working arrangements for staff. In her current role as head of the Hague Development and Promotion Section, Jess is responsible for the continuing development of the Hague system for the international registration of industrial designs and contributes to outreach and promotion of the system. Regular yoga practice, hiking, ski touring, and biking give Jess a balanced perspective of the essentials of life and well-being. So thank you very much, Jess. Welcome. The floor is yours. I apologize for my mistakes of pronunciation, but sometimes to change for Portuguese and English is a little bit complicated. So the floor is yours.
Beautifully.
Thank you.
You read it beautifully, Ricardo. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I hope that you're able to see my slides very well, the one slide.
Yes, it's okay. It's fine.
Thank you. Thank you. First, a congratulations to the golden anniversary of INPI. Indeed, 50 years is a milestone. I would also like to express our pleasure in hearing the news from Mr. Furtado that Brazil wants to and is taking steps to join the growing big family of the Hague system. The director of the Hague Registry, Mr. Grégoire Bisson, is not able to appear in this webinar, but he sends his well wishes to everyone. I will be passing on the message to him, and it is a wonderful message to receive. We really look forward to working closely with INPI and also ABAPI towards the realization of the membership, future membership of Brazil in the Hague system. Now, I will be introducing the Hague system. Thank you very much to Eduardo for a very comprehensive, the earlier speaker, for a very comprehensive discussion of what are industrial designs, why we protect them, what cannot be protected, certain statistics which are very impressive. Now, I will be introducing to you the Hague system, which will show you an alternative means and an efficient means of protecting your industrial designs. Now, if you miss anything, if there is something that you would like to know more about, please do not worry. I hope that this will be simply the first of many more webinars and interactions with both INPI Brazil and ABAPI. So let me start with the Hague system. It is called the Hague System for the International Registration of Industrial Designs. My part is the first part, and there will be a second part from my colleague Max later on. Now, okay, let me just... So I will start with a general overview of the Hague system, and next go on to a discussion briefly of the Hague system procedure, the benefits, and then a few statistics concerning Brazil. The Hague system is a tried and tested system. It was first established in 1925, which would be nearly 100 years now, by the international community, precisely to make simple the process of seeking protection of your industrial designs. So that's nearly 100 years of experience. That's nearly 100 years of catering to businesses and designers in helping them protect their rights over their industrial designs. Now, what is the Hague system, in fact? The Hague system, you have to think, is a procedural mechanism. It deals only with the procedures for registering your industrial designs. So issues such as the rights resulting from the protection, the conditions for protection, and then the procedure in case there is a refusal from any of the designated contracting parties, and I will go into that later on. These are all governed by the laws of the contracting party. Hague system is procedural, and the substantive aspects relating to the protection of your designs are all governed by the national or regional legal framework. So if you will, the Hague system is international. It is entirely complementary with the national or legal framework for arriving at the protection of your industrial designs. Now, the Hague system, you could call it, has the character of establishing one-to-many relationships. Why is that? With one international application for a single international registration, you will be able to designate many contracting parties of the Hague system where you can obtain protection of your industrial designs just by one international application or one registration. The Hague system also gives you a bundle of rights because with one international registration, it has the effect of granting you rights of protection in as many contracting parties of the Hague system that you designate in your international registration. The legal framework of the Hague system, as mentioned earlier, it was first established in 1925. Now, over the years, there have been developments definitely concerning industrial designs, protections, the procedures. And so the latest expression of the Hague Agreement, because there have been amendments since 1925, the latest expression of the Hague Agreement is the treaty called the Geneva Act of the Hague Agreement, which was adopted in 1999. There is also another treaty of the Hague Agreement, which is an earlier expression of the Hague Agreement, which is called the Hague Act of 1960. Now, all of the members of the Hague system, except for one, have acceded to the Geneva Act of 1999. The remaining country, Morocco, are already making steps to accede to the Geneva Act of 1999. So when Brazil gets to the point of depositing their accession instrument, it will be an accession to the Geneva Act of 1999 of the Hague Agreement. In addition to the treaties that I just mentioned, there are other legal texts that constitute the legal framework of the Hague system. You have the Common Regulations, which was first established in 1996, and the Administrative Instructions, which were established in 2002. They flesh out the provisions of the Hague Agreement, of the treaty provisions. In addition, the national laws and regulations of the contracting parties of the Hague Agreement also make up the substantive aspect, also make up and is part of the operations of the Hague system, insofar as they have an impact to the procedures for the international registration of your designs. I will go next to a brief description of the procedure of the Hague system. So we start with, like any other application for protection, we start with the international application. Remember, the Hague system is the international route for seeking protection of your industrial designs. So you have an international application, which you can file and you can submit in either English, French, or Spanish, because these three languages are the languages of the official languages of the Hague system. You can file your international application directly with the International Bureau of WIPO. You do not need to have an earlier national filing to be able to file an international application. You can go directly to the International Bureau of WIPO to submit your international application for industrial design registration. In your international application, you have the possibility to include as many as 100 designs. So a maximum of 100 designs, provided that they belong to the same category or the same classification on the basis of the international classification applicable to industrial designs, which is called the Locarno classification. The Hague system international application is a monoclass system. And with your international application, you will then need to pay one set of fees, which is paid in one currency, which is the Swiss francs. The role of the International Bureau is that we receive your international application, and the Hague Registry then proceeds to perform an examination of your compliance with the formal requirements. Formal requirements, not the substantive aspects. As mentioned earlier, the substantive part of your international application, the substantive review of your international application is with the national IP offices. During the formal examination, if there is any irregularity in your application, for example, the description is not sufficient, or if, for example, certain of the formal requirements are not met in your international application, or for instance, you have not paid the required fees as yet, you will be sent a notification of an irregularity by the Hague Registry that will give you 3 months typically to correct any irregularity in your formal in your international application. Now, if you have met all the formal requirements of under the Hague system, your international application will now be recorded in the international register. At that point, or after that recording in the international register, you will then receive a certificate of your international registration as the holder of that international registration. Now, that international registration will be published in the International Designs Bulletin of the Hague System. The International Designs Bulletin is a very important database because it contains authoritative information of your international registration. The International Designs Bulletin is the formal publication of the Hague System that is required under the Hague Agreement. Now, publication in the International Designs Bulletin of the Hague System is now the notification to contracting parties which are designated in the international registration. So you have an international registration, you have an international application, let's say, you designate the European Union, the United States, the Russian Federation, Japan. These are only some of the big members of the Hague System. You designate them to say that I am seeking protection of my industrial designs in these contracting parties of the Hague System. So once your international registration is published in the International Designs Bulletin, the national IP offices of those contracting parties, which I just mentioned, will then look at the data provided in the International Designs Bulletin to now start their examination if they conduct examination. Mind you, there are a number of Hague System members which do not necessarily have the function of examining office. Now, your international registration has the same effect as if your application was filed in directly with the contracting party. Your international registration is valid, is a source of proof, is a source of is a protection of your rights over your design in any of the contracting parties which you have designated. That is really important to bear in mind because this is the beauty of the simplicity of the Hague System. Now, what is the duration of protection under the Hague System? I believe that Eduardo had mentioned, I do not understand Portuguese very well, or Brazilian very well, but he also mentioned in his introduction the duration of protection of your industrial designs. In the Hague System, the maximum duration of protection at a minimum is 15 years. Now, this 15 years is divided into tranches of 5 years. So the first period of protection for your international registration is 5 years. And after After 5 years, you will have the opportunity, there is a period of 6 months within which to renew your international registration. So at the minimum, or at the very least, you can renew your international registration twice to arrive at the maximum duration of protection of 15 years. There are a number of Hague System members which provide for a maximum duration of protection that is over 15 years. For instance, Monaco, I always remember this contracting party provides for a duration of protection, a maximum duration of protection of 50 years. So if you, for instance, designate Monaco in your international registration, then you can seek renewal every 5 years until you reach the maximum duration of 50 years. Now, the refusal, as I mentioned earlier, is governed by the substantive grounds for any refusal is governed by the national laws of the contracting party concerned. The contracting party which you have designated cannot issue a refusal on the basis of non-compliance with formal requirements if the International Bureau has already passed upon the formal examination of your international application. So once the International Bureau says that your application has complied with the formal requirements under the Hague System, the national IP office will not be able to say that we refuse your application, your international registration on the basis of non-compliance of formal requirements. They are bound by the Hague Agreement not to refuse on the basis of any formal non-compliance. The examination of the International Bureau and the consideration of the International Bureau that the application has met the formalities under the Hague System is authority concerning the compliance with these formal requirements. If there is any refusal, it must be on the basis of substantive grounds under the national framework. The refusal must be communicated within established time limits, and the effect of that refusal is only limited to that specific contracting party. What does this mean? If in your international registration, as I had mentioned earlier, if you designate the US, the European Union or Russia, and let's say the Russian Federation issues a refusal, that refusal will only be applicable to Russia. If there is no refusal from the European Union or the US, your international registration already grants you protection in those territories. Now, where the international registration is not refused, then you enjoy the same rights as a local design registration. You get a bundle of independent rights, as I had mentioned before, and you have the advantages of central management of your international registration. Concretely, what does this mean? If, for instance, you want to change ownership of your industrial design because you want to transfer it to someone, you do not need to go to US, excuse me, the EU, or the Russian Federation to record the change in ownership. Excuse me. All you need to do is record the change in ownership with the International Bureau of WIPO, and that recording will then be sufficient insofar as data is concerned with respect to the other designated contracting parties in your international registration. Excuse me. Now, to the big question, who can use the Hague system? If you are a national of any of the contracting parties of the Hague Agreement, any of the members of the Hague system, if you have a domicile, so nationality, domicile, if you have a real and effective industrial or commercial establishment, that means you have a business in any of the Hague system members, or you have a habitual residence in any of the Hague members, these four essentially are your attachment to a contracting party of the Hague Agreement, you will be able to file an international application under the Hague system. I should mention, for example, that China is not yet a member of the Hague system. It will become a member soon. And yet we already have approximately over 600 international registrations under the Hague system, issued under the Hague system, with the holders, where the holders are businesses based in China. Why is that? Because these businesses have offices, have branches in at least one of the contracting parties of the Hague Agreement. So please keep in mind, if you meet any of these conditions, what we call entitlements to file under the Hague system, you will be able to use already the Hague system. Now, to the benefits of the Hague system. The beauty of the Hague system is that it is a one-stop solution. It is simple, it is efficient, and it is economical. Simplicity is really what we are aiming for under the Hague system. Currently, for many Brazilian businesses, if you want to seek protection in the US, Russia, the EU, you have to go to each and every national IP offices. So what you see here, applications, you deal with many offices, you deal in many languages, and you deal in many currencies. With the Hague system, you only have one route. You have one international route that covers all of the contracting parties of the Hague system. So we really would like to make the process simple, a very smooth customer journey in seeking protection of the international design, and we would like to take you out of complication. So please remember, it is easy to use, it is simple to use, because you only have one international route rather than multiple individual routes. Efficiency is also a benefit of the Hague system. You see here the famous Swiss knife. It is called the monster, by the way, and you can understand why it is called the monster. In this Swiss knife, there are over 80 functionalities. I don't think you will be able to put this in your pocket, but it's really impressive. Now, the Hague system also is impressive in that with one set of formalities, one office of filing, the International Bureau, you have a choice of one language, you pay your fees in one currency, with one international registration, one renewal procedure, one modification. All of this makes your life simple and efficient as compared with individual, national, or the regional route, where you have multiple formal requirements, multiple offices that you need to go to, multiple languages that you need to deal with, currencies, registrations, renewals, modifications. And the last but not the least, the Hague system is very cost efficient. Let's take, for instance, I looked at certain data of Brazil, and your top, you register your designs mostly in the EU, in China, and in the US. let's take, for instance, that you have a design, let's say 5 designs of bikinis, bikinis, and you want to popularize your design in Europe. Now, Europe, as you know, is not only the European Union, it also includes the UK. There will be the Brexit soon, but that doesn't pose a problem for using the Hague system because the UK is also an individual member of the Hague system. The Europe also includes Switzerland, it includes Norway, which are very lucrative markets in the European area, and it also, you have a big market, Turkey. Now, if you want to seek protection of your industrial designs in these 5 sets of territories, EU, UK, Switzerland, Norway, Turkey, you will have to go to the 5 individual IP offices. Here is an indicative comparison of the cost for these individual 5 filings. You will arrive at the cost of 4,500 Swiss francs if you add it all up. That doesn't even take into account the time, the effort, several languages, several currencies, etc., that you will need to undertake to be able to do these individual filings. For the Hague system, you will arrive at a cost of 1,700 Swiss francs. This is an indicative cost for 5 designs at 7 reproductions each. So here you have a comparison, very, very significant difference, a comparison that will earn you at least 60% in savings between individual multiple filings and 1 international filing under the Hague system. Now, very quickly, certain statistics about Brazil. One of these Eduardo has already covered earlier. Brazil here is one of the middle income countries in the world, and they are more or less also in the middle in terms of industrial design filings. Now, you will see there the 3 types of industrial design applications. You have resident filings. This is what you call the filings that you get from those within Brazil. You have non-resident filings in INPI. These are the filings that you get from elsewhere in the world. They file, they come to INPI. And you have the abroad filings. These are Brazil, these are businesses in Brazil that seek protection of their designs in other offices. So you can see that you have quite a large number of Brazilian businesses that seek protection abroad. Now, you would like to help these Brazilian businesses to simplify the procedure for seeking protection of their industrial designs. Instead of going, as I said, to multiple national IP offices, all they need to do is remember one thing. We go to the Hague route. We go to the Hague system. We cover all the contracting parties under the Hague system. There is also an argument for increasing your non-resident filings. These are the foreign businesses that would like to seek protection of their designs in Brazil. Here in 2018, between 2009 and 2018, you have non-resident filings have increased from 1,460 to nearly 4,000. If Brazil becomes a member of the Hague system, your foreign businesses who wants to seek protection in Brazil, definitely that will increase because it is easy for them. All they need to do is add Brazil. All they need to do is just take Brazil. I add Brazil in my international application, boom, and the business goes to INPI. I have 2 more data. One is, here is the resident and non-resident registration design counts worldwide. So the light green represents resident filings and the dark green represents non-resident. So let's just say, take the case of Brazil. INPI receives the bulk of their filings from businesses in Brazil. but they also receive some filings, and it is a growing percentage of their filings from outside Brazil. So here in 2018, the non-resident filings represent 17% of overall non-resident filings, 17%. So please keep that in mind. Non-resident filings on average represent 17% of total filings. Under the Hague system, here you have direct non-resident, which is the dark red color, and the Hague non-resident filings. Most of those non-resident filings are done through the Hague system. So in Brazil, if you become a member of the Hague system, many of the non-resident filings will be using the Hague system to file protection in Brazil. So facilitating the increase of protection of designs in Brazil, and in effect also helping expand and develop your industrial designs protection system. That is the last of my slides. And as I mentioned earlier, I really hope that this will be simply the first of many webinars concerning the Hague system. I will now turn over to part 2 to my colleague, Max Germain. Over to you, Ricardo. Hello, Ricardo.
Sorry, I'm back. Thank you, Jeff, for your presentation. Now I will introduce our next speaker, Max. Bonjour, Max. Ça va?
It's good.
And you know that this is the end of my French, you know already. So I will read now the bios of Max. Max Germerio is an associate market analyst in the Hague Development and Promotion section, Hague Registry Brands and Designs sector of WIPO. He has successfully launched the development and implementation of the newly created Hague webinar program, as well as the establishment of market penetration strategies to promote the better use of the Hague system. Before joining the HDPS last September, he worked in various sectors at WIPO, including in the Madrid registry. Max holds a master's degree in international relations from the Geneva branch of Webster University, Missouri, the United States of America, and Prince 2 project management certification. So with this presentation, I hand the floor to Max. Thank you, Max.
Thank you. Can you see my screen, please?
No, not that. Okay. Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will do this. So. Let me come back here. Share screen. Here you go. You only have to tell me when to change the.
Is this
the slide, okay?
Can you see my screen now, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's handling it.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot.
Max, I am sharing your screen. Okay,
Thank you
I'm sharing your presentation.
Thank you very much, Ricardo Penho. This part of the presentation is more about sharing information on the Hague system. In fact, this will be touch upon the geographical scope of the system, and also you would see some of the businesses and countries that benefit the most from the flexibilities that and cost advantages that the system offers. I will be pointing out to some key information resources, for example, conducting research on industrial designs that are registered either via the national route or under the Hague system. As potential users of the Hague system, a degree of awareness regarding a set of resources that are available for you will be helpful. And then also we will be talking about some information regarding the fees and the payment options as current users or potential users of the Hague system. And toward the end, we will also be pointing out to some online resources and services that you can use to manage your international registrations. In fact, next please. Next please. In fact, as it is now the case for other international IP registration systems that WIPO administers, such as the PCT for patent and the Madrid system for trademarks, the Hague system is on its way to becoming a truly global system. We have now this is a map of the Hague Union. And on this map, you will see there is a blue part that represents the areas of the world that that the Hague system cover. Next, please. And then Jess spoke earlier about Morocco, that is still connected only to the 1960 Act. And then this country is indicated in red. In fact, until recently, we had two existing members of the Hague system, which were Morocco and Suriname, which were connected to the Hague system only via the 1960 Act. But fortunately, Suriname has acceded to the 1999 Act, and this treaty will become operational with regard to this country tomorrow, September 10. The gray parts of the map represent the countries to join the Hague system in the future. And of course, the strategy of WIPO is now to work on the expansion of the Hague system, for it to become a global, and with the various initiatives are undergoing to facilitate the entry into the Hague system by these countries in gray. Currently, the membership of the Hague system comprise 74 contracting parties, which cover 91 countries. As you know, the 27 countries members of the European Union are members of the system, some of them via the accession of EU, which is a member of the system, but others also as individual members. We are here talking about dual membership. And at the same time, we have organizations such as OAPI, which is the French-speaking, the organization, we're grouping the French-speaking countries that include 70 countries that are also covered by the Hague system. In the context of the implementation, for instance, of Brexit that Jess mentioned earlier, there has been negotiated arrangements to preserve the right for holders of Hague designs registrations in which the UK was designated. Next, please. Within a short period of approximately 2 years, from June 20, the geographical scope of the Hague system has been expanded to include about 10 more jurisdictions. And in terms of the geographical location, the size of economies, there has been a mix of countries that will potentially be acceding to the Hague system in the near future. And this list, we have China that will probably be acceding to the system maybe by next year. And then we also have a number of countries in different regions in the Caribbean and in Africa. If everything goes well, it is believed that by 2021, the system can be further expanded to include some minimum 10 more members. Next, please. Now the question is, concretely, who are the users of the Hague system? The 2019 figures would show that some traditional filers are accounted among the top applicants. These are from Germany, from France, and from Switzerland and other countries. However, we have businesses from relatively new members of the Hague system. For instance, we have businesses from Korea and we have businesses from the US, which have quickly placed themselves among the top 10 filers under the Hague system in 2019. For instance, we know that Korea, United States, and Japan, for instance, have joined the Hague system in less than 10 years. There is a list of, here is the list of companies and brand names that are counted among the top 10 applicants that filed the largest number Hague application in 2019. This also shows the top popular classes or the sectors of activities for which design protections are obtained under the Hague system. We are talking about almost 3,000 registration in the sector of recording and communication and equipment. Approximately 2,000 in furnishing. Means of transportation also shows a very good number. More than 1,000 in lighting, for instance. Let me let you know that all the facts and figures and the analysis of the international registrations or designs are provided in the Hague Yearly Review that is published online on the Madrid web page, and this you can have access to it at any moment. For the users of the Hague system, we have at your disposal a very rich set of information resources that any current and future Hague system can refer to. To start with, it is of interest to know, for instance, how to navigate the Hague system website, which has many categories or many layers of information. The reason is very often, for instance, you may have a user who is looking for certain information either regarding the Hague system or on industrial in general, and then not having the familiarity necessary with the page, and ended up being discouraged and choosing either to call WIPO or to go to look for information from different sources. On this page, you will be the first time user of the Hague system. The first category, when you arrive on the landing page, you will more or less have all the information that you will need to start understanding how the system works. For instance, all the information you will need to know are more or less available, and you will always have updated information that would help you find your way either to using the Hague system or understanding how the system works. The second section of the page, if you could return, please. If we can. The second section of the page contains all information that regarding changes that occurs in the context of the Hague system. Information that changes or events that took place back to some 10 years ago are all available. You will always be able, for instance, if you have interest in, keeping, staying updated about all development, you can sign up and to be notified anything there is something that occurs. We have the third section of the website where all the key resources are available for those who might have the first level information but wants to understand how the system works, the procedures, the fees, and etc. People who would perhaps need to have access to databases. The third section of the website is for you, and you would be convinced that the Hague system is for you, and you will decide to either file an international application, or you would be the owner of an international registrations. The fourth sector will be for you. When we talk about information or about getting the proper information, your needs for doing research is something that is important. Regarding the information and research on registered designs, my colleague talked about the International Design Bulletin as the official publication of the Hague system. This contains all data regarding international registrations, the renewals, the modifications, and any change that may affect an existing international registration. What is important is now, if you were to be looking into information that were published after 2012, all this information would be stored in the bulletin archives, and normally we talk about the information published in the bulletin from 2004 and 2000 to 2011, we have an XML version of the bulletin if you would like to, for instance, have it hard copy and have access to it at any moment. There is another important research engine that could help you take decisions. For instance, we have the Global Design Database. My colleague Eduardo Rodriguez referred to it. This is a very important tool. Is what we would like to add. We have approximately about 30 different participating offices that provide information about their design collections, in addition to the international registrations under the Hague system. The content of these two databases are to be explored to know the designs might have registered by, for instance, this and that competitor. And if you find out that design is already registered, that would allow you to refine your products or your business strategy before investing money and time to develop such products, either at your national or for the foreign markets. Filing an international application under the Hague system has, in fact, become much easier with an intuitive filing interface called the eHague. This tool accelerates the process of filing online directly with WIPO. It allows not only to file, but also to manage at your own, at your own space your application, and to communicate at any moment on any eventual issues that you could encounter. And the interface is connected to, for instance, the fee calculator, so you have the possibilities to manage your payment through the same platform. Next page. Next page. Next, please. There is a demo version of the eHague that can be accessed here, and you can make as many tests as possible and from the beginning to the end. But however, if you were to decide, for instance, to understand better how the Hague system works and how you could efficiently prepare your international application, we also have the e-tutorial, the eHague tutorial, that is available for you. This is, next slide, please. This is, there is the eHague tutorial is in fact being updated, and very soon the revamped version will be made available for those intending to obtain appropriate information when being prepared to file an international application. Next, please. This is the masterpiece, the Hague masterpiece materials. In fact, it is a very comprehensive reference on the Hague system, being able to walk through users to the various tips involved in preparing an international application for designs. It includes all the background information and descriptions of the Hague system, procedures and requirement, Also, when it comes to all the procedures being modernized, changed, and before the IP offices of contracting parties of the Hague system, all this information are reflected through the Hague Guide for User. And to simplify the life of users of this guide, we have developed a shorter references on a number of issues relating to filing the international application and managing the registration. All of these are available and accessible online here. Next, please. When preparing, or if you will be if you will consider to prepare or to file a Hague application, you are invited to visit, for instance, the Hague member profile, which is another very important source of information for filers. What it does is it has a very wide range of information on the practices and procedures of Hague members. What you need to do, for instance, at the time of the accession of a member of a country, the country has the possibility to make declarations, for instance. The country will be entitled to choose the type of fees that he would like to charge for and this international application in which it is designed. All this information are reflected there, and issues such as time limits, everything that concern the requirement of a specific contracting parties, these informations are made available through this platform, which is updated as often as necessary. We were talking about declarations. We see declaration as an extension of the legal and procedural obligations that users will need to comply with when, for instance, designating a specific country. The list of declaration is quite long. These are statements that can be made by a contracting party at the time when the country or this contracting party in question is acceding to the protocol, or at any moment after accession. Again, it is a very source of information for users or applicants to consider when they are making a decision for designating a specific contracting parties. Bearing in mind, in particular, we are talking about those offices that they often conduct the examination or substantive examination of the designs. So the ground on which the examination is conducted, and if possible, refusals will be issued, and very often the requirements are indicated in the declarations. There is a different material that is important, which is the reproduction guidelines. Again, this is a document that has been developed jointly between WIPO and some IP offices. Again, when or if you will be, or you will be yourself, or you will be advising a client to use the Hague system, this will be a very important source of information that can be looked at. Thank you. Next, please. Again, when you are filing or when you are getting ready to file an international application, of course, you need to think about the fees. I think even for companies with large budget will be willing to make a cost estimation. For this, we have the fee calculator, which is available online. For the fee calculator, it is a document that is not really that doesn't modify very often, because the fees of fixed fees for basic fees, publication fees, and so forth. And any change in those figures will require negotiation. However, when it comes to the individual fees for designating some specific contracting parties, I think there are about 12 of these contracting parties that request individual fees. When they are designated, those fees are likely to be changed more often comparing to the schedule of fees. However, when calculating a fees, you will have this tool that would allow you to either conduct an estimate or just calculate real time the fees that you will need to pay for international application. All of these are part of tools and resources that could help you either prior you start filing an international application or during the process of filing the international application. Next, please. This is part of information that you need to know wherever you are, you will be paying to WIPO. My colleague mentioned that all transactions, not only under the Hague system, but with WIPO, are paid in Swiss francs. We have information online about payment methods that are self-explanatory. And if you will be becoming a user of the Hague system, all this information will be accessible to you. Most of users who either first-time users or people who use the different WIPO services, they are always advised to open accounts. There are transactions that can be paid with credit cards or with bank transfers. But in terms of payment methods for transactions under the Hague system, it's easy and all the information are available online. Thank you. Please, next. Please, no, please go back. On the management of the international registrations, the renewal is one of the important thing that is done, because the design is registered for 5 years, and then time to time you have to look how to find information to renew it. We have the e-renewal system, which is easy to use. You just need to enter the international registration number, and then the system will take you through the process and you will do it. And for managing your international registrations, we have this list of forms that are available to all users, except, for instance, the DM form, which is the equivalent of the e-Hague for filing the international application. All the transactions that you would need to do for managing your international registrations, we have forms that are standard forms that are available for users. Next, please. Again, we aim at achieving efficiency for ourselves and giving users the possibility to get the most of the Hague system. The Contact Hague form is a platform that has been revamped recently to facilitate communication, different type of communications with users. Once your international application is submitted, there could be many other transactions or information that you would need or changes that you would like to occur. Even for payment issues, you could, directly via this one, you find your way. And it is a platform that is now, that has become the the mechanism for us to communicate with the users. And we have been able to achieve great efficiencies and bring satisfaction to the users of the Hague system through this platform. And most cases, all the inquiries we receive are handled in less than 48 hours. So let's say maximum approximately 24 hours. And this is a tool that has brought a lot of efficiency within the Hague system. Next, please. This is the QR code where you could just scan it with your phone, and that will give you access to all those information that have been referring to the sources, the tools, etc. We invite you to, if you have the possibility, just to use it to access all information about the Hague system. Before, I would like to mention that in the event that, for instance, you will be interested in understanding those tools, those services better. Of course, in the context of this presentation, we cannot provide too much details. But however, now we have this webinar program that we will progressively be providing webinar session on those tools, those procedures, and please feel free, again, if you subscribe to receive information on the Hague system, you will be aware whenever that a webinar on a specific topic presented here will be organized.
Okay, thank you very much, Max, for your presentation. And I have to explain here that Jess had to leave this meeting because she had another meeting starting now. And we have a few questions that I will send in writing to the speakers as Jess asked for, and I will send the questions to either to Jess and Max, and they will answer in writing. Eduardo had the chance to answer the questions in the YouTube chat, so I think that everybody is happy and satisfied with Eduardo's answers. And due to the time, we have now almost 2 hours of this webinar. I will thank Max again, thank the Jess, Eduardo for their presentations. Thanks the WIPO for sponsoring this webinar with ABAP. And our president is back. I don't know if he wants to, no, he doesn't want to say final words. So
I'll leave it to you.
Okay, thank you. So thank you very much. We thank the speakers, we thank our audience, and hope to see you soon in the next webinar. Okay, thank you very much. And we will end this webinar right now. Thank you. Bye-bye.